Two men retire in the very same year, from the very same company, after the very same 40 years on the floor. Same job, same final paycheck, same gold watch on the way out the door. One of them spends his retirement completely relaxed, traveling, barely ever checking his account. The other one actually saved more money and spends every single month quietly afraid of running out. The only real difference between these two men is one single thing that one of them has, and the other one does not. And it changes absolutely everything. That one thing is a pension. And almost nobody alive today truly understands how powerful a pension really is, or how much it is genuinely worth. A pension does not just add a little income to your retirement, it quietly rewires the entire emotional experience of being retired. Let me show you exactly how, by following these two men year by year. Meet Walter and Gary. Same factory, same 40 years, same retirement day. And here is the twist. Gary is actually the better saver of the two. He built up a solid nest egg, around $600,000 in his retirement account. Walter saved far less on his own. But Walter walks out the door with something Gary does not have. A pension that pays him $3,500 every single month for the rest of his life, no matter what the world does. Start with Gary and his $600,000. It looks like a small fortune, and in a real way it is. But here is the quiet trap. Gary has to turn that pile into a paycheck entirely by himself. And that is exactly where the stress begins. Every dollar he pulls out is a dollar that stops growing for him. If he spends too quickly, he runs out. If he spends too slowly, he wastes years of his life being scared for no reason. So Gary does what almost everyone in his position does. He rations. He underspends just to feel safe. And there is an invisible monster Gary is quietly fighting the whole time, and it has a name. It is the order of his returns. If the market drops hard in his very first years of retirement, while he is selling investments just to live, that damage becomes permanent. The exact same average return, arriving in a bad order, can leave him broke a full decade earlier. So Gary watches the news with his stomach in knots. He flinches at every dip. He treats his own life savings like something fragile that could shatter at any moment. Now look at Walter. His $3,500 lands in his account, whether the market is soaring or crashing through the floor. He does not watch the financial news with any fear at all. He does not ration a single thing. When a downturn hits and Gary is panicking, to Walter, it is just a headline, not a threat to his survival. His income is bolted firmly to the ground, and that one fact quietly changes how every single day of his retirement actually feels. Because a pension is something most people never stop to really understand. It is guaranteed income for life that you genuinely cannot outlive. It does not care how long you end up living. It does not care what the stock market does next year. It does not even care how you feel when you wake up in the morning. It simply pays on the same day every month until the day you die. That is the single rarest and most valuable feature that money can possibly buy, and Walter receives it completely automatically. And here is the part that genuinely stuns people when they first hear it. To recreate Walter's pension out in the open market, to buy yourself a guaranteed $3,500 a month for life, Gary would have to hand an insurance company somewhere around $700,000 to $800,000. Sit with that for a second. Walter's pension, the thing that looked like the smaller, lesser deal, is quietly worth more than Gary's entire life savings. The pension was never the consolation prize. It was secretly the bigger number the entire time. Quick, honest note before we go any further. None of this is financial advice. It is simply how these things tend to work in the real world. Your pension, your numbers, and your situation are entirely your own. Now, back to the two men, because the most important difference between them is not even about money. The real difference is fear. Gary, the man with more money, sleeps worse at night. Walter, the man with less, sleeps just fine. Because a pension does not only fund a retirement, it quietly removes the single most corrosive feeling in all of retirement, the daily, grinding fear of outliving your own money. That deep peace of mind is the actual product Walter is enjoying, and it is worth far more than almost anyone ever stops to realize. But here is the hard part, the part you already feel coming. Most people retiring today do not get a pension at all. They get a retirement account, which means they get Gary's exact deal, the big scary pile, and all the fear that quietly rides along with it. The pension, that beautiful guaranteed check, has almost completely vanished from the modern working world, which leads straight to the only question that actually matters. If no one is going to hand you a pension, can you simply build your own? And the genuinely good news is that you mostly can. You build a personal pension in layers. The first layer is Social Security, which is itself a kind of pension, guaranteed, inflation-adjusted income that lasts as long as you do, and quietly delaying when you claim it makes that monthly check dramatically larger for life. The second layer, only if you want it, is taking a portion of your savings and using it to buy a simple annuity that covers your basic monthly bills. The goal is never to lock up all of your money. It is to build a solid floor underneath your life. Because that is the real secret Walter had, without ever having to think about it. His baseline, his rent, his food, his lights, his medicine was completely covered by a check that could never stop coming. Every single thing beyond that baseline was pure bonus. Build that exact same floor underneath your own life, and you get to feel Walter's calm, even inside a world that only offers you Gary's pile. You cover the essentials with guaranteed income, and then you let everything else ride and grow. So the real lesson here is not to sit around envying the lucky people who still have pensions. It is to quietly copy what their pension actually does for them. Guaranteed income for the handful of things you genuinely cannot live without, and growth for absolutely everything stacked on top. Do exactly that, and you stop being Gary, wealthy on paper but secretly afraid, and you start becoming Walter, completely calm simply because the check always, always comes. So before you measure your whole retirement by the raw size of your pile, try asking a far better question instead. How much of your actual monthly life is already covered by income that can never, ever run out? Tell me in the comments. Just type the word pension if you are going to go build your own floor. And if you want the next breakdown, the one on exactly how to turn a pile of savings into a paycheck that lasts for life, it is waiting for you right now. I read every single one.